Prophecy is a myth, unreal, unbelievable. There's a reason fortune tellers and the like are so associated with the occult. However, there are times where a work of fiction proves to be so incredibly accurate to a future life that we find it to be a work of prophecy. Most of the classic examples have all been addressed by others. But there is one work that, despite being incredibly popular upon release, has since gone overlooked by most. It isn't a book. Or a movie. It is one of the defining video games of the 1990s. Final Fantasy VII. The camera pans out and away from a flower girl and over a gargantuan city, built like a pizza with slices feeding into a large tower at the center. We see the true modern impact of the heightened population and quest for power, as dotting the edge of the city are reactors burning away at something. Then, the camera pans into a group of eco-terrorists going to blow up one of said reactors. And we take control of them. The opening sets the stage for a world that has been lived in and destroyed by a quest for power, both metaphorically and literally. For at the center of the city is the Shinra Corporation main headquarters, a dark tower with their name plastered on the side. Inside, the business is run by a kinky father who spends his time in a brothel, and once he is dead, a son who uses intimidation and violence to get what he wants. Generally, this does not involve actual working, but rather helicopter and airship rides using the military force of Shinra. These trips are often either taken in pursuit of our rebellious heroes, in pursuit of a joyride, or in pursuit of some kind of promised land where the source of Mako energy is. And, as I mentioned, they have control of the strongest military in the world and use it to bully and conquer smaller nations, or just as a prop for some show in some grand military parade. I hope this picture sounds familiar to at least some of you. This quest for power over the world isn't where that hunt for power ends. As stated above, the reactors harness the energy of the planet in order to create the power necessary to run the world. This power, called Mako energy, is found in the life stream, which is a blatant allegory for oil, and may also be a reference to more reactive types of energy such as nuclear energy. Over the course of the game, there are several instances where pure life stream is shown crystallizing into a more usable, safe form known as materia, which is interpretable as the half-life deterioration of elements into a more stable state. Additionally, large outbursts of the life stream and Mako energy results in towns like Mediel being destroyed, or the failure of a reactor in a town called Corel, forcing them all to relocate into slums underneath a golden city of amazement, something akin to Las Vegas. In that way, Final Fantasy VII combines both environmental themes with social ones, at once showing both the decimation of a coal mining town through greed, and at another time showing what happens to those in unstable areas when oil, or Mako energy, is wanted. Of course, as the plot would be expected to demonstrate, this quickly comes to a head near the climax of the story, where Shinra finally manages to find their promised land. And lo and behold, it contains the source of all Mako energy. Unfortunately, tapping into it is the game's real antagonist, Sephiroth, but I'll get to him later. This combination of evil and overutilization causes the planet to respond in spades, with Sephiroth using materia to summon Meteor, which will wipe out the planet if it makes impact. Additionally, several gargantuan monsters are unleashed, known as weapons. These warriors of the planet begin to target not just Shinra, but all people, causing doom wherever they go. In the town of Mideel, the primary lead, Cloud, is left resting after an incident relating to Mako poisoning the Promised Land left him comatose. That is, when one of the Ultimate Weapon, attacks. This attack leaves Mideel destroyed, nothing but a pool of Mako where a village used to be. Following that, the Sapphire weapon attacks a large city, Junon, and is only repelled by a cannon the size of a city to the face. Lastly, the city of Midgar is attacked by Diamond weapon, and in much the same way, Shinra repels it with a massive cannon, only this time they draw even more power from the planet. Each solution Shinra comes up with is only temporary, a stopgap in the face of Meteor. Shinra makes one effort to stop Meteor directly, and that is to launch a rocket containing materia into the meteor, hoping to make it break up and disintegrate in the atmosphere. The rocket hits Meteor, but it fails to do anything other than break it up into a few pieces, thus ending any attempts by Shinra to prevent the meteor from falling and destroying the planet. It is clear to me that Meteor and the weapons are meant to be analogous to climate change. The way the weapons attack indiscriminately and leave behind nothing but great destruction is akin to natural disasters, which have grown in number and ferocity due to climate change shifting temperatures and currents. The incident in Mideel is akin to an oil spill caused by a storm or other incident, and is handled in the story in a similar way. Every attempt Shinra makes to stop Meteor or the weapons is related in part to Mako energy as well, as the materia in the rocket and the cannons powered by overloading the Mako reactors show. In this way, they can never truly stop their doom, and the entire leadership winds up dead for it, killed in some way by the disasters they started. However, even after the party, the main characters clean up the weapons, Meteor still exists. It looms overhead constantly, reminding the player that the end is arriving shortly. No matter what anyone does, Meteor keeps coming, and it is here that Final Fantasy VII is at its most bleak and hopeful. The main characters are now all that could possibly stand between catastrophe and a future for humanity. Each one faces torment at the idea of needing to throw their lives away in the name of salvation, but each returns to face the end of the world with their heads held high. They all have some stake in saving the world personally and on a grander scale, so they challenge Sephiroth at the Promised Land once more. This final fight is incredible on multiple levels, but at the end of the battle, even with Sephiroth felled, Meteor still continues falling. There's nothing left but for the world to end. Until the life stream comes out of the planet, manipulated by one of the party's fallen, to stop Meteor and save the planet. The party watches on as Midgar is destroyed, and millions of lives are claimed by the clash of forces, but Meteor is repelled. And that's where the credits roll. At the end of the game, we see a flash forward to 500 years in the future, ish, where greenery and life have reclaimed the planet, but there are no signs of humanity. Merely the plants and the animals. The game offers no further insight into what happened, who lived, and why we're seeing the world as it is. In this way, Final Fantasy VII offers us a view on the world where we stand now. At the beginning of the game, things are on the precipice of destruction. Corruption reigns as the driving force of the world, and the people are trying in aimless ways to prevent disaster. But now, we get to choose our outlook from here. We could continue, manipulated by the oil industry and our corrupt government into a world akin to the games. At which point, the best we can do is try and fix whatever's left and hope the planet won't kill us for it. Or, we can make positive changes in our lives, reject the future Shinra and Sephiroth lay out for us, and hold our heads high for a brighter day.